If you've been waking up softer, less often, or maybe not at all, this isn't just a sign of aging. It's a signal, a quiet alarm that your body's natural system's blood flow, hormone balance, and sexual energy are starting to slow. Not in a sudden way, but gradually, silently, until one day, you stop feeling like yourself. But here's something you might not hear often enough. It doesn't have to stay that way. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. As a urologist and men's health expert with over 30 years of experience, I've helped countless men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim not just their confidence, but their sense of manhood. And we did it naturally. No pills, no shortcuts, just wisdom and a better way to begin the day. Because what if I told you the first 10 minutes after waking could reprogram how your body functions not only in strength and energy, but in desire and vitality? That through 8 simple, proven habits each morning, you could awaken your ability to rise in your terms. Most men have never been taught this. And so, many stay quiet, feeling lost. But you don't have to. Not anymore. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the exact routine I give my patients. A powerful, natural rhythm to restore blood flow, reignite testosterone, and stir the part of you that is still very much alive. So stay close, what you're about to hear could shift everything. Before we begin, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the guidance that could change your days and your life. And if this message touches something and you drop a 1 in the comments. If not, drop a 0, it helps me understand how to serve you better. Let's begin now with something unexpectedly simple. No pills, no stretching. It starts with what you drink. Because the strength of your morning begins in a place most men overlook, the liver. Let me show you why this 1 glass of warm lemon water might become your most powerful daily habit. Habit 1. Morning liver awakening. Whenever I tell a man that one of the strongest decisions he can make for his erections happens before breakfast, before coffee, before food, he usually stares in disbelief. But I've witnessed it too many times to deny. The first thing you give your body each morning will either energize your hormones or slow them down. Especially when it comes to sexual vitality, that first choice carries more weight than we often realize. Let me share a story. Jack was 67, tired, discouraged, and resigned to the thought that his prime years were behind him. One morning in my office, he looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Doc, I just want to wake up feeling like a man again." And what I offered him wasn't a prescription or a new therapy. It was something surprisingly simple, yet deeply restorative. And that's when I shared with Jack something so simple it almost sounded silly. A warm glass of water with the juice of half a lemon. That's all. Nothing fancy. But the science behind it? Remarkable. You see, your liver is one of the unsung heroes of male vitality. It's responsible for breaking down excess estrogen, flushing out toxins, and managing hormones that influence everything from how your body stores fat to how deeply you feel desire. But as we age, the liver slows down. Decades of processed food, alcohol, medication, and stress leave it heavy, burdened, and sluggish. And when the liver lags, testosterone drops and inflammation rises, two of the greatest enemies to healthy erections. That's where warm lemon water comes in. This simple morning habit reawakens liver function. The citrus helps trigger natural detox pathways, encourages bile production, improves digestion, and reduces systemic inflammation. Most importantly, it helps flush out the estrogen-like compounds that accumulate over time, those quiet saboteurs of hormonal balance. That humble glass of lemon water becomes a daily ignition switch, a message to your body that says, "It's time. Wake up. Be strong again." And don't underestimate the hydration itself. Most men wake up dehydrated, which shrinks blood volume and spikes stress hormones. Not exactly ideal when you're hoping to rise in more ways than one. But when your body is fully hydrated, it becomes more responsive to touch, to energy, to life. For Jack, just this one habit, before any other change has sparked a real shift. Within 2 weeks, he was waking up with more energy. His digestion improved, his mood lifted, and yes, That familiar strength down below, the one he thought had vanished, began to return. From one overlooked drink. These aren't dramatic interventions. They're small, intentional choices. But over time, they create a powerful ripple effect. And we're only getting started, because what your body craves next, it's already waiting for you just outside your window, and it's completely free. Let's talk about sunlight, testosterone, and how just 10 minutes a day could transform your performance, your presence, and your power. If this is speaking to you, if even one part of you feels a shift, drop a 1 in the comments. So I know we're walking this path together. Let's keep going. It's time for habit 2. Habit 2 to 10 minutes of early sunlight. There's something sacred about early morning sunlight. The quiet, the stillness, the cool air brushing your skin. But too many men sleep through this golden window, and in doing so, miss one of nature's most potent healers, natural light. I remember a man named Walter, 72, retired teacher, lighthearted and kind, but weighed down by changes he couldn't explain in the bedroom. He'd tried it all: supplements, stretches, even considered medication, but nothing truly helped. As we reviewed his routine, I asked gently, "When was the last time you stepped outside in the morning, just stood there, and let the sun hit your skin?" He laughed and said, "Doc, I'm too old to be sunbathing." I smiled and said, "Walter, I'm not talking about a beach vacation. I'm talking about a daily prescription from nature-free, healing, and already waiting. You just need to open the door." Here's why it matters. Your body follows a natural rhythm, your circadian clock, and that rhythm governs the release of key hormones like cortisol, melatonin, and yes, testosterone. When early sunlight hits the photoreceptors in your eyesight, ideally within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, it sends a powerful signal to your brain. It's morning. Wake up. This signal gently shuts down melatonin, the hormone that keeps you sleepy, and ushers in a natural rise of cortisol. And contrary to what you might have heard, cortisol isn't the enemy. At the right time and in the right amount, it gives you clarity, drive, and triggers the early wave of testosterone production. It literally tells your testicles, it's time to get to work, and it doesn't take much. Just 10 minutes. No sunglasses, no glass between you and the sky. Just you, the light, and a quiet space to receive it. This brief exposure also jumpstarts vitamin D production, a vital player in testosterone creation and blood vessel health. When vitamin D is low, so is libido, mood, energy, and yes, erectile performance. Walter didn't expect much, but with coffee in hand, he gave it a shot. He stepped out onto his porch each morning, just 10 minutes, nothing more. Within a week, his energy lifted, his sleep deepened, but most importantly, something beautiful began to steer a quiet, spontaneous desire. A signal from within that reminded him he was still alive. There's something deeply healing about reconnecting with light, not just as warmth on the skin, but as a reset for the soul. So, if you've been waking up dull, heavy, or emotionally numb, don't rush to blame your age. Maybe, just maybe, you simply need the sun. Now that we've realigned your inner clock and sparked the hormonal flame, it's time to go even deeper, though, the source of tension that quietly blocks blood flow and desire. And no, it's not about pills or machines. It's about your breath. Let's talk about a practice so simple, I teach it to men of all ages, and yet it may be one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use to restore vitality. Habit 3. Alternate nostril breathing. 2-3 minutes. Here's something I wish more men truly understood. A healthy erection isn't just about testosterone or even blood flow. It's deeply connected to your nervous system. When you're tense, when stress lingers in the background of your mind, your body goes into defense mode. Blood gets pulled away from the core, desire dims, and slowly, survival begins to override passion. And the hard part? Most men don't even know they're stuck there. Stress becomes their default. Numbness becomes the norm. Frank was 69, former engineer, practical to the core. He came to me exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally flat. His labs looked fine, his scans were clear, but his energy and intimacy? Missing. He had the data, the pills, the structure, but nothing seemed to change. I looked at him and asked a question that made him pause. When was the last time you just breathed? He blinked. You mean like meditation? I smiled. Something even simpler. There's a breathing technique I want to show you. It takes just 2 minutes, but it can shift your entire system. It's called alternate nostril breathing, an ancient technique rooted in yogic practice and now validated by modern science. Here's how it works. You sit quietly, close your eyes, and gently cover one nostril as you breathe in through the other. Then switch sides. Inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. Slow, steady, rhythmic, just 2 to 3 minutes. The effect is quietly profound. This kind of breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's built-in message that says, you're safe now, you can relax, you can feel. It slows your heart rate, reduces stress, and most importantly, for men like Frank, it boosts nitric oxide. Why is that a big deal? Because nitric oxide is what opens your blood vessels, especially the ones responsible for erections. Without it, blood doesn't move where it needs to. With it, flow is natural, strong, and effortless. Frank gave it a try. Every morning, in a quiet room, no distractions, just breath. Within a week, his sleep improved. After 2, his energy came back. And then, something powerful returned. Natural, spontaneous erections. Not forced, not stressed, just his body responding again in its own rhythm. That's what I love about this habit. No gadgets, no gimmicks. Just you and your breath reclaiming balance, control, and presence in a world that rarely allows it. Now that we've eased the tension, expanded the vessels, and reset the system, it's time to talk about something just as critical: your fuel. And not just what you eat, but when. Habit 4. Intermittent fasting. Delaying breakfast. Henry had done what most of us were taught. Wake up, eat big, start the day. A warm breakfast, coffee, maybe some toast, pancakes, the works. When he came to me at 66, he felt drained. His libido was low, his belly stubborn. He called it vanishing morning wood. He chalked it up to age. But I asked him a question that changed everything. What if you skipped breakfast just for a few hours? He blinked. Skip breakfast? I thought that was the most important meal of the day. I smiled. Not anymore, especially not for men over 60. You see, as we age, our body doesn't respond to food the same way, especially in the early hours. When you eat carb-heavy meals first thing, insulin spikes, and that spike sets off a chain reaction. Fat storage increases, growth hormone drops, and testosterone slows. It's not just what you're eating, it's when. The result? Less energy, more belly fat, and weaker performance. But when you introduce intermittent fasting, or simply delay breakfast by a few hours, you allow your body to switch gears into a powerful restorative state, fat-burning mode. That shift is key. When your body burns fat instead of sugar, it creates ketones, which support hormonal balance. Testosterone rises, inflammation drops, insulin sensitivity improves. And for men concerned about erectile health, that last one is huge. Insulin resistance is one of the silent saboteurs of sexual function, not because of age, but because it damages the delicate blood vessels needed for strong, reliable flow. With Henry, we started gently. Instead of his usual 7 a.m. breakfast, he held off until 10 or 11. Coffee was still on the table, black. No sugar, no cream, and plenty of lemon water to stay hydrated. The first few days were tough. The body clings to routine. But within 10 days, something shifted. He felt lighter in his body, but more surprisingly, in his mind. He was sharper, clearer, and slowly but surely, he began waking up with that familiar firmness again, something he hadn't felt in nearly a year. There's something powerful about giving your body space. Space to reset, to heal, to regulate and rebuild from within. Intermittent fasting isn't about deprivation. It's about restoration. About letting your hormones lead again without the daily overload of sugar, snacks, and automatic habits. But fasting alone isn't enough. Once your body begins finding its rhythm again, we need to support something even deeper. Not your muscles, your mind. Because what you think, what you feel, and how you connect with the world around you could be the real key to better, more meaningful intimacy. And this next habit might surprise you. Habit 5, the gratitude activation. I remember Raymond well, 70 years old, a widower, quiet, reflective. He came to me not just with concerns about performance, but with a deeper ache you could see in his eyes. He said his body felt numb, not broken, just off, like a machine going through the motions. The light had dimmed, the connection emotional, physical had faded. But as I listened, I knew the issue wasn't just blood flow. It was something more subtle, the heart. Not the physical organ, but the space inside us that feels, that remembers, that connects. I asked him gently, "Raymond, what are 3 things you're still grateful for every morning?" He blinked, paused, then offered a small smile. "I haven't thought about that in years." But here's what we know both, through research and decades of experience. Gratitude changes your biology. It's not fluff, it's science. Practicing thankfulness each day lowers cortisol, slows your heart rate, strengthens your immune system, and yes, supports sexual response. Because when your nervous system is calm and your emotional pathways are open, your body responds especially in the areas linked to intimacy, sensation, and connection. I gave Raymond a simple starting point. Each morning, before the distractions set in, I asked him to write down 3 things he was genuinely grateful for. They didn't have to be grand, just real. A warm memory, the colors of a sunrise, the sound of a familiar voice. And I added one more step. Each day, send a short note, a quick text, a voice message, or an email to someone he appreciated. Just a few words to say, "I'm thinking of you." Within 2 weeks, something beautiful began to shift. Raymond started smiling more. He felt present, grounded, lighter. And along with that emotional shift came a physical one. His morning erections returned not forced or mechanical, but naturally. His body responded to a man who was reconnecting not just with others, but with himself. You see, as we grow older, we often let go of the quiet rituals that kept our hearts open. And when that emotional spark dims, our sexual energy fades too. But when you choose appreciation over fear, when you lead with gratitude, the body listens. It always does. Because desire isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. Gratitude prepares the ground. But now that your heart is open, it's time to go deeper to your mind, to the image you hold of yourself inside. Because the next habit awakens a part of the brain most men never think to use. Yet when you activate it, it can rewire your confidence, desire, and energy in ways you haven't felt in years. And it takes just 60 seconds. Let me show you. Habit 6 to 60 seconds of sexual visualization. I'll never forget introducing this to Charles. 68 years old, divorced, recently retired, but more than anything, he felt lost, not in body but in identity. His words stuck with me. "Doc, I don't recognize the man in the mirror anymore. I used to feel strong, desired. Now, I just feel invisible." That quiet ache, it runs deeper than most realize. And yes, it shows up in how we feel, but it also shows up in how we perform. So I offered him something different. Every morning, I said, close your eyes for 60 seconds, and I want you to see yourself, not as you are now, but as you were when you felt most alive, most confident, most desired. He blinked. "Like a daydream?" I nodded. "Yes, but one with intention." What I asked Charles to practice was known as sexual visualization, a purposeful, concentrated exercise that awakens the regions of the brain connected to memory, emotion, confidence, and desire. When you repeatedly picture yourself as confident, attractive, and sexually capable, your brain responds. It triggers a cascade. Dopamine levels increase, testosterone follows, posture shifts, energy rises, and little by little, your body starts aligning with the image your mind is rehearsing. For Charles, that 1-minute routine became transformative. Right after his morning gratitude, he'd sit in stillness, breathe deeply, and imagine himself at his strongest standing tall, looking his partner in the eyes, feeling seen, desired, grounded, not just in a physical sense, but emotionally too. And something within him ignited. It didn't happen overnight, but week by week, Charles felt more engaged, more alive. He told me it was like turning on the light in a room that had been dim for years. And science backs it up. This isn't make-believe. Visualization is rehearsal. Just as top athletes visualize crossing the finish line and surgeons envision each step of a procedure, you too can condition your body for intimacy by first conditioning your mind. It only takes a minute and a willingness to view yourself through a new lens, not the lens of age or limitation, but through the lens of potential and strength. You're not imagining something fake. You're remembering something real. And memory has power, because the truth is, your body listens to belief. When you start each day with a clear picture of who you want to be sexually, emotionally, energetically, your chemistry begins to follow. Your posture lifts, your voice steadies, your confidence returns. And now that you've activated the brain's image of strength, it's time to anchor it into your body with a movement that's ancient, simple, and deeply effective for men over 60. You don't need a gym. You won't break a sweat, but it might become the most important 2 minutes of your entire morning. Habit 7. Horse stance plus arm swings. 2 minutes. It was on a rainy afternoon that Thomas walked into my office. 74 years old, retired firefighter, strong frame, heavy heart. "I still feel the fire in my head," he told me, "but down there, it's like the pilot light's gone out." He'd tried it all: supplements, medications, yoga. Nothing clicked. So I showed him a movement so basic, so rooted, it made him chuckle. "Seriously, doc? Just stand and swing my arms?" I smiled. "Not just stand," I said. "Root yourself. Breathe into it. Let the power return from the ground up." This simple yet powerful movementa blend of the horse stance and flowing arm swing shows its roots in ancient Chinese healing traditions. For generations, it's been practiced to activate energy channels, improve circulation, and awaken the pelvic regiona key zone for male vitality. And for men over 60, it might just be the most overlooked exercise to reignite sexual function and restore strength from within. Start by standing with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width. Gently bend your knees. Lower your hips into a firm, balanced position like you're straddling an invisible horse. Let your shoulders soften. Then begin to swing your arms back and forth with ease and no tension. No strain, just rhythm and breath. This isn't about exertion, it's about connection. With each breath, each swing, you're stimulating circulation through your pelvic floor, the foundation for firmer, healthier erections. You're awakening your lymphatic system, helping to reduce inflammation and flush toxins from the prostate. And you're re-engaging the core muscles that quietly erode with age. But even more than that, you're grounding yourself. In just 2 minutes, this movement brings you out of your head and back into your body. That disconnection, that dullness so many men carry, this practice begins to dissolve it. You feel your strength returning, your balance restoring, your presence deepening. Tomasz felt too. Each morning after his visualization, he'd step into the stance, arms swinging, breath steady, and he could feel his inner fire reigniting. Not in big dramatic ways, but in subtle shifts. Better posture, more energy, and the quiet courage to embrace intimacy, again not with fear, but with steady confidence. Because power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in showing up, in restoring flow, in tuning back into the body that's been waiting for you all along. And now that your mind and body are in sync, that your masculine core is reawakened, there's one final step, one bold move that seals it all in. It's fast, it's bracing, and once you feel what it unlocks, you'll never skip it again. Habit 8. Cold splash or shower. Finish. Optional but powerful. It's amazing how the smallest shock can create the biggest awakening. I remember chatting with Greg, one of my longtime patients, a 71-year-old former Navy man. When I asked how his new morning routine was going, he grinned and said, "Doc, everything's great. But that cold shower? You're lucky I trust you." We both laughed because I know how it sounds. Stepping into a blast of cold water first thing in the morning feels like a dare, not a prescription. But what Greg didn't expect was how that 30 seconds of icy wake-up would make him feel more alive than he had in years. This habit isn't about toughing it out or proving anything. It's about reminding your body and your spirit what it truly means to be fully awake. Even just a few seconds of cold water in the morning creates a cascade of controlled, beneficial stress, a signal that tells your nervous system, it's time to rise. The shock triggers a surge of norepinephrine, a powerful brain chemical that sharpens your focus, boosts mental clarity, and stimulates blood vessels. Oddly enough, this temporary constriction leads to long-term flexibility in your vascular system, which directly improves blood flow where it matters most. And when it comes to performance, especially sexual performance, flexible, responsive blood vessels are everything. But the benefits don't stop there. Cold exposure lowers systemic inflammation, gently regulates cortisol, and strengthens your cardiovascular system's ability to adapt on demand, meaning when the moment calls, your body's ready. Your energy is responsive. Your arousal is natural. And no, you don't need to go full Navy SEAL. Just start with 10 seconds at the end of your warm shower. Let the water hit your chest, then your back. Breathe through the jolt. Let your system recalibrate. Then step out, towel off, and take in that unmistakable rush, that flicker of primal energy that's been dormant too long. Greg did, and after a few weeks, he shared something I'll never forget. It's not just that I feel more awake. I feel like I've got my edge back. I forgot I could feel this alive without needing anything outside myself. That's the power of this final habit. It reclaims what's always been inside you, hidden maybe, but not lost. By ending your morning with this bold choice, you're not just cooling off, you're locking in a message to your body and brain. I'm present. I'm ready. I'm alive. It brings it all together: breath, blood, hormones, mindset into one unified signal of strength. Conclusion: bringing it all together. If you're still reading, I know something inside you is stirring a desire not for more noise, but for more life, more energy, more depth, more connection, not just in the bedroom, but in the way you walk through your day. You've just learned 8 simple, natural habits. No prescriptions, no devices. Just everyday rituals designed to restore what time, stress, and routine may have dulled. From a glass of lemon water that wakes your liver and jumpstarts your hormones, to 10 minutes of sunlight that resets your internal clock, to calming breaths that open blood vessels and calm the mind, to delaying breakfast, giving your hormones space to rebalance, to daily gratitude and purposeful visualization that reignite the man you remember being, to gentle movements that awaken pelvic circulation, and finally, to a cold splash that seals your system into alertness and flow. This is your blueprint. And the best part? It's not overwhelming. None of these steps take more than a few minutes, but practiced consistently, they can reshape how you feel, how you show up, and how fully you live. I've worked with men for over 30 years, men who thought their best days were behind them. But when they committed to small, steady change, it wasn't just their erections that returned. It was their vitality, their laughter, their sense of purpose. So no, you don't need to do everything perfectly. Just start with one habit, one morning, one breath. And remember, this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the man you were always meant to be. And this journey, it's not just about performance. It's about something far more sacred. It's about dignity, presence, that quiet, steady pride that rises when you realize your body still works, still listens, still honors the man you are. We've now walked through 8 foundational habits, and maybe what surprised you most was how natural they are. A glass of warm lemon water to gently wake the liver and reignite your hormonal balance. 10 minutes of morning sunlight to signal your testosterone and reset your inner rhythm. Gentle alternate nostril breathing to calm your nerves and unlock circulation where it matters most. A delayed breakfast to realign your metabolism and allow your body to burn fat and produce testosterone with ease. A daily moment of gratitude, not as a task, but as a daily recentering of the heart. Purposeful visualization to reconnect with your strongest, most desired self. The horse stance and arm swings to restore pelvic vitality and awaken the power at your core. And a final cold splash to seal it all in with clarity, energy, and resolve. None of this is complicated. None of this demands perfection. But together, these habits form a rhythm, a blueprint, not just for better erections, but for a better way of being. Because over the past 30 years, I've seen what happens when men begin with just one small step each morning. It's not just their sex life that returns, it's their vitality, their wit, their joy, their quiet courage to keep showing up not as a shadow of their former self, but as the man who's still here, fully alive. That version of you isn't gone. He's been waiting, just beneath the surface, ready to rise. The truth is, you don't need to have it all together. You don't need to master every habit, every step, every practice right away. But you do need to begin. Maybe it's as simple as sipping warm lemon water. Maybe it's just stepping outside to feel the sun on your face for 5 quiet minutes. What matters most is movement, momentum, the sacred rhythm of showing up for yourself one breath, one choice, one morning at a time. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning. Returning to the man you were before the world grew heavy, before stress and silence made you question your strength. Because that man, the one who still dreams, still longs, still carries fire in his bone, she's still here, still able, still alive. So when morning comes, don't just rise out of habit. Rise with intention. Walk the path. Let these small habits stir something deeper. And remember this truth. You're not finished. You've only just begun. If this message stirred something in you, even a whisper of recognition, don't keep it hidden. Share it. Send it to a friend, a brother, someone you know is walking through this quiet struggle. You never know who might be waiting for this very word. And if this journey matters to you, these videos help you reclaim something you thought was lost. Consider supporting what we do. Every gift, every comment, every share helps us reach more men who need to know they're not alone, because you're not. You're part of something larger now, a brotherhood of men rising again, choosing wholeness over shame, strength over silence. So stay close, stay faithful, keep rising day by day. You're worth it, and we're walking this with you.